My fellow Americans.
Well, I'm not a crook. I've earned everything I've got.
A man holds in his mortal hand the power to abolish all forms of human poverty and all forms of human life.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
One day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
He says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." I suppose we all thought that.
Hello and welcome, Cryptids and Cryptettes. Today we have a very special episode all about cryptids. We're going to basically choose our cryptids like we're choosing Pokemon teams.
Real left turn. Nobody was expecting this.
Real left turn. Totally out of the box idea. Who's doing these kind of revolutionary things other than us? What do you think?
I most definitely think that there's many people doing this.
Yeah, probably. This is probably not an original idea. I should ask ChatGPT, is this an original idea?
We know it. We know it's not. We know it's.
we know it's not. Yeah, no, it's probably not. I mean, I haven't seen any videos like this, so I mean, I haven't gone out of my way to look it up.
So I was never a big fan of the Persona games, but there was one I played, and it was one of the newer ones, I think. And it plays like the combat feels like Pokemon, and you're like capturing these like demon ghost monster things, and it starts to really feel like Pokemon at a certain point. But they're really creepy yokai from Japanese mythology, but they're also like some other ones from like Christianity. Like it's that shit kind of feels like cryptid Pokemon.
Yeah. I mean, I looked it up. I found like a few other like Pokemon like kind of things. They had one called Cryptid Hunter, which was pretty much exactly what we were describing. But honestly, the best thing that I found was something called Pokemon Paranormal and Pokemon Cryptids, which was basically the paranormal researchers were Pokemon trainers, and you had to like go find like Mothman and Bigfoot and like
That's cool.
It is. And what I thought was the coolest part, which I didn't even like think of as a thing, but this would be amazing. They had locations like Skinwalker Ranch and like famous like cryptid areas and shit. Probably Area 51, shit like that, as like locations that you can go and like look for these cryptids. Like that's so cool.
That's really awesome.
Yeah. Today we're going to be talking about what would be on our teams. Do you want to go first or do you want me to go first? I'm sure I feel like, are you sure? Well, I need your help to understand like what these cryptids are going to do.
I'm ready. Before I get focused on my shit, let me figure your shit out for you.
Let me figure your shit out for you. Thank you. So today, I came up with a few ones that I thought sounded really cool, and these are actual cryptids that I looked up. I guess Mothman, classic. We don't really have to get into the lore too much, but he's the harbinger of doom. He's psychic. He's a bird creature. He's one of the. What was the?
Is he psychic?
That's what I thought. I thought that he had like somewhat psychic powers and clairvoyance, and that anytime you seen him was like a really bad doom like event that happened.
But funny enough, right? We already decided, or I decided for him, that Mothman is a dark flying type. Dark and flying. Not a bug type, because he's not literally a bug.
No, he's not.
He looks more like an owl.
Yeah.
We're just gonna go with dark and flying. We know he's like a giant shadow, and we know he flies.
Dark and flying.
And he has other abilities, right? But the Harbinger of Doom thing is interesting because there's a Pokemon that's also a Harbinger of Doom.
Is he a flyer or no?
No, but he's dark type.
Okay, well that works. That works with Mothman.
Straight up dark type. Yeah. I'm just gonna say it out loud for anybody who might be listening and it's like itching their brain that I'm not saying it. Absol.
Absol. So kind of like the rapper.
Absol looks like an emo My Little Pony character who's like also kind of a dog.
Oh yeah, I see him.
But still cool. Absol's actually cool though.
Yeah, that's cool. Mothman is supposed to like be a harbinger of doom, from what I hear. A winged humanoid cryptid from Point Pleasant, West Virginia, associated with a series of sightings and alleged prophecies surrounding the collapse of the Silver Bridge. It's often described as a tall winged creature with red eyes and central figure in folklore urban legends. So yeah, it's supposedly like cited around like crazy events that happen.
Well, do you want to explain some possible moves that Mothman could learn?
Well, that's what I was thinking. Yeah,
Also, I just realized something. Do any of these cryptids evolve?
I think we should. I don't know. We should table that part of it right now. I don't know, because Mothman would maybe just evolve into a bigger Mothman. You know what I mean? Like,
Not all Pokemon evolve.
yeah. No, I get that.
I could imagine Mothman having a mega evolution or some shit like that, whatever the new version of that is, but
Yeah.
probably not a regular evolution.
Yeah, I think evolutions would probably be more for like Bigfoots and stuff like that. That would probably fit the evolution niche more, or aliens.
Hmm.
Although I didn't write any aliens down. Oh well, I did write one down that might be considered an alien. It's one of my 6, and I think it's an alien, but it's called something else. But let me go. Well, actually, I got 2 aliens on here now that I think about it, because the next one's an alien, I think. I mean, a few of them might be aliens. Holy shit, actually. The next one, well, let's come up with some Mothman attacks. So what are some Mothman attacks? He would flutter his wings and cause like destruction.
I think there's got to be at least a handful of moves that are that already in the game. Like you don't even have to create it.
That's gust, basically, is the same thing.
Yeah. You could also just no fly, the move fly.
Yeah, I like coming up with like names that fit the the character though.
Yeah.
And call it
Dive bomb.
yeah, dive bomb, death stare,
Oh, but you can give him foresight,
foresight. That'd be cool. He could fly away.
fly away.
That could be like his run. He just shoots up into the air.
You only get 4, just so you know. For some reason, you only get 4.
All right, so we got like the gust one. We got dive bomb. We've got a psychic move. Could be like the death stare, something like that. And then a flee move, like a straight out of here.
Foresight. Do you want foresight or because you can give leer? Leer is like it leers at something, and like leer's a good one because Mothman has those fucking eyes. I think there's another couple of moves that are involve like stare down.
Well, that's what I was saying with the death stare thing. Is it could be like a leer type move.
Yeah, true. There's an effect where like Pokemon can sometimes flinch after one of your Pokemon does something.
And it like dodges it, right?
Yeah, pretty much like they do nothing. They can't attack you essentially.
That's funny.
They just like instead of like actually being able to do something, they just kind of like freak out.
It's like when a bear runs at you and you like just stand tall at it and it just runs past you. Yep. All right. Let me just say, however, she was unable to discern its face due to the hypnotic effect of its eyes. So there we go.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of moves it could learn. We could go down the list of every single move that it could learn through its like leveling and also just from moves you could teach it. But we're not going to do that.
Yeah, and we've already talked a lot about Mothman. We're probably going to talk a lot about him in the future. I feel like Mothman is one of those cryptids that like he's talked about a lot. There's no new information about him, but he's just always just going to be there. Like he's always just going to pop up.
Yeah.
Next one is the Flatwoods Monster. So we talked about that. That was like a group of kids seeing this like weird drone, like alien drone thing that just popped out of nowhere and sprayed this weird foul smelling gas and like made a weird siren noise. And like they attributed it to being like a robot or something. It sounded to me like an alien drone. That was like they just stumbled upon and it just like went into like defensive mode, but because it was children.
I wish that Pokemon had an alien type because they have a fairy type and a dragon type. So they're kind of moving toward like they already have mythological creatures within their types. So it's kind of interesting. Like there's a lot of different cryptids that you could call a fairy. There's a lot of different cryptids you could call a dragon. and they would all fall under that. Same with ghosts, ghost type.
I stopped myself from writing down like different dragon cryptids and different ghost cryptids and fairy. Literally, there were multiple fairy cryptids I could have written
Oh, yeah.
down. I was like,
Oh
eh.
yeah. Now here's the thing: the Flatwoods monster. I think first and foremost, I want to give a poison type.
I think that's appropriate.
Wasn't it like a gas or like this the foul smelling odor or something? But it looks too like poison types in the game always look fucking gross.
Well, I was gonna
Unless
say
they're like a plant poison type.
it reminded me of the character Voltage and Smog, but combined.
Would you give it like another typing or make it all poison type?
I would make it like I would make there be a like robotic section of cryptids for the
Well, you could just
Pokemon type.
give it a metal
and give
type.
it well, exactly, metal type, and then it'll be like a poison metal type, like a you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, we could totally do that. I didn't realize it was so robotic. I thought it was more just like a strange alien creature.
No, it seemed way more like a robot. Even the guys would like a lot of them said when they were older that it seemed like more of a robot in hindsight. That when at first they seen it, they thought it was an alien, but in hindsight, it was way more robotic. And like when they looked at it, they thought it was a robot.
That is interesting.
Yep. The next one is a really fun one that I don't know a little. I gotta probably look up because I don't know that much about, but I thought he would make a great Pokemon cryptid. The Loveland Frogman.
Absolutely.
Ohio folklore. The Loveland Frog is a legendary humanoid frog described as standing roughly 4 feet, allegedly spotted in Loveland, Ohio. In 1972, the frog legend gained renewed attention when a Loveland police officer reported to a colleague that he had seen an animal consistent with descriptions of the frogman. After a reported sighting in 2016, the second officer called a news station to report that he had shot and killed the same creature some weeks after the 1972 incident. So why didn't he bring it, like, and had identified it as a large iguana that was missing its tail? Oh, okay. The University of Cincinnati folklore professor Edgar Slotin compared the Loveland frog to Paul Bunyan, saying that stories about it have been passed down for several decades and that sighting reports seem to come in predictable cycles. According to various legends, the creature was first sighted by a businessman or a traveling salesman driving along an unnamed road late night in 1955, with some version of the story specifying in the month of May. In one story, the driver was heading out of Branch Hill neighborhood when he spotted 3 figures standing on their hind legs along the side of the road, each 3 to 4 feet in height and leathery skin and frog faces. In other versions of the story, the creatures were spotted under or over a poorly lit bridge, and one held a wand over its head that fired a spray of sparks. Well, here we go. On March 3rd, 72 at 1 a.m., Loveland police officer Ray Shockey was driving on Riverside Drive near Toad's Boot Factory when an unidentified animal scurried across the road in front of his vehicle. The animal was fully illuminated, his vehicle's headlights, and he described as 3 to 4 feet long and about 50 to 75 pounds with leathery skin. He reported spotting the animal crouched like a frog before it momentarily stood erect to climb over the guardrail and back down towards the river. 2 weeks after the incident, Officer Mark Matthews reported seeing an unidentified animal crouched along the road in the same vicinity as Shockey's sighting. Matthews shot the animal, recovered the body, and put it in his trunk to show Officer Shockey. According to Matthews, it was a large iguana, and he didn't immediately recognize it because it was missing its tail. Matthews speculated the iguana has been someone's pet. They either got loose or it was released when it grew too large.
Do you still want this on your team, even though it's just an iguana?
I was thinking that kind of sucks. There was another frogman somewhere, but you know what? I'm gonna switch this one with. I already have a backup cryptid that I'm gonna switch this one with.
Yeah.
Let's switch this one with the Lake Champlain monster.
So you want a Nessie on your squad?
Basically,
At least one, huh? To go up against. I won't say anymore.
To go up against. Champ is the name of the legendary lake monster believed to inhabit Lake Champlain, a large lake located between Vermont and New York. Sightings of Champ have been reported for centuries, and the lake monster's existence is a popular topic in the region. The legend of Champ dates back to 1600s and has been passed down through generations. There have been numerous sightings reported over the years with descriptions varying, but often including a creature with humps, flippers, and a snake-like head.
A straight-up dinosaur, which is cool. But you know what we can do? Is we can make that a water dragon.
Yeah, so would all of those types of like sea monsters be water dragons, or not sea monsters, but you know what I'm saying, lake monsters?
Yeah,
Because Loch Ness Monster is one. I think there's one in Argentina.
They're all water dragons. Now, we could argue differently. We could, okay? For example, Gyarados. It's a fucking dragon, an eastern dragon. That's a water type. But it's actually a
Yeah.
water flying type. And I think there's like another version, or maybe it's the evolution or something. There's like a new evolution or mega evolution that makes it a dragon. But I kind of just like the explanation that it actually is just a fish that looks like a dragon. It's like this big, powerful fish that is technically flying because it has what looks like almost like wings on the sides of its head, and it's the front half of it is always like up like a sea serpent, like a snake would be up. But I like the idea that it's just like flying essentially. It stays in the water, but it can like jump up and kind of fly a little bit.
That would be cool.
I think also the flying type goes into the myth that it comes from. It's just a fish. It's not a lizard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fish.
I feel like this one wouldn't really be a flying type. Definitely. It'd be way more of a fish type. Like I was even thinking of like moves that it would make, and I think it would be really easy, honestly. Like it could probably make tidal waves with its flippers. It could probably bump into things. If I'm sure that's like a move that it could do. It could probably slam.
Give it dive first and
I was-
foremost. Give it dive.
Yeah, dive just in case. Yeah, it gets attacked or something like that. It can
Yeah, it
fend
can
it.
go down and then come back up.
So that's like 3 already. It could, what do you call it? Do like a slam where it like slams down like its flippers.
Slam is a move.
Yeah.
Slam
that
is
works.
definitely a move. You can do
All right.
crunch, you can do bite.
Yeah, there's so many that you could do with a Loch Ness Monster type or like a Lake Champlain.
Mm.
All right, the next one is the Rougarou. Now, for anyone that doesn't know, because I didn't know what the name was, but I knew this was a thing that existed.
I need you to explain it to me again. I'm not sure.
The Rougarou is supposedly so it's basically like a werewolf of Louisiana. A legendary creature, pronounced Rougarou, is a legendary creature in Cajun diaspora and a tricker in oral traditions in Metis and Francophone communities linked to traditional concepts of the werewolf. The creature known as the Rougarou as diverse as the spelling of its name, though they are all connected to Francophone cultures through a common derived belief in the loup-garou. Loup is French for wolf, and garou, Frankish werewolf, connate with English werewolf, is a man who transforms into an animal. Rougarou represents a variant pronunciation and spelling of the... Man, they're talking about the pronunciation of this so much. In America, the tale of the Rougarou is a common legend across French Louisiana. Both words are interchangeably used in southern Louisiana. The legend has been spread for many generations, either directly from French settlers to Louisiana or via the French-Canadian immigrants centuries ago. In the Creole and Cajun legends, the creature is said to prowl the swamps around Acadiana and greater New Orleans and the sugarcane fields and woodlands of the region. Most often is described as a creature with a human body and the head of a wolf or a dog, similar to the werewolf legend. Often the storytelling has been used to inspire fear and obedience. One such example is stories that have been told by elders to persuade Creole and Cajun children to behave. According to another variation, the wolf-like beast will hunt down and kill Catholics who do not follow the rules of Lent. This coincides with the French Catholic loup-garou stories, according to which method for turning into werewolf is to break Lent 7 years in a row. A common blood-sucking legend says that the Rougarou is under the spell for 101 days. After that time, the curse is transferred from person to person. When the Rougarou draws another human's blood, during that day the creature returns to human form. Although acting sickly, the human refrains from telling others the situation for fear of being killed. Some believe that placing 13 small objects by the door keeps the Rougarou at bay. The creature is said to be so simple-minded it can't count beyond 12. That's hilarious. So I've thought of a few things already, and I've thought of its weaknesses too. If it gets too weak, like a certain HP level, it transforms back into a human and becomes like a feral human that becomes extremely weak.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, and it's almost like a de-evolution of it. It can use like scratch. It can use like what else?
I think this thing is a dark, normal type.
Yeah, like a dog man, werewolf, whatever that would be.
Yeah.
It can use bite. I mean, there's so many things that this can be. I like the idea of the Rougarou, a werewolf in Louisiana legend. Sounds pretty cool. I mean, we can think of 4 of them, but like it's pretty much like super easy to think of those. Here's one that I think we're gonna have a tough time figuring out the type of like attack set for it.
Why? Tell me.
It's the Dover Demon, an alleged cryptozoological creature that was sighted on 3 separate occasions in the town of Dover, Massachusetts on April 21st and April 22nd, 1977. It has remained a subject of interest for cryptozoologists ever since then. Cryptozoologist Lauren Coleman was the initial investigator and the individual who named the creature the Dover Demon. It was disseminated by the press and the name stuck. Coleman quickly assembled and brought into the inquiry 3 other investigators, Joseph Nyman, Ed Fogg, and Walter Webb. All were well-known ufological researchers in eastern Massachusetts, with Webb being the assistant director of the Hayden Planetarium at Boston Science Museum. Coleman did not feel he was necessarily dealing with a ufological phenomenon, but he wanted to have seasoned investigators with good interviewing skills do a comprehensive examination of the witnesses and their families, as well as law enforcement and educational communities. Witnesses claimed the creature had green eyes, seemingly smooth, chalky, gray-toned skin, 3 feet tall, and made blood-curdling noise similar to a hawk's screech combined with a snake's hiss. But all witnesses say it has no ears, no mouth, nose, or known sex. Witnesses also agree that it stalks the trees and waits to scare its victim. Slender fingers, which used to grasp on the pavement. It was hairless, had rough, flesh-toned skin described as tan sandpaper-like. The creature's appearance was very plain with no nose or ears. It just kind of scurried across the roads.
That was my cat running by.
Oh, no, I was just saying that the Dover Demon scurried across the roads.
You didn't hear my cat run by? I was just pointing it out.
No, I didn't.
She's going crazy right now.
Is she?
Right now.
Oh, I can hear her.
She sounds like a human right now.
Is she yowling? Is she going through heat right now?
What's that? What's the one you just said before this?
The Rougarou?
Yeah.
He's a Rougarou.
She's a cat Rougarou. Whoa.
There we go.
She's crazy.
I'm gonna start having a podcast. Your cat's gonna be a guest on the podcast. We're just gonna start interviewing her.
Don't confuse her.
I know she's getting too confused. I'm sorry, kitty.
She's doing something. She sees things that we can't, and she's doing something. We always think that cats, like, and animals just do stupid shit in front of us, but, like, she looks like the most excited she's ever been. And she's just, like, also, like, completely in shock. Like, what the fuck? Like, she's freaking out.
She's freaking out.
And that's just something that cats do.
Yeah, they do freak out a lot.
But I don't think it's just something that cats do. I think there's, like, a reason why they're doing that.
Yeah.
Like, what are they seeing and like, reacting to?
Like when they have the what do they call that? There's a word for it. Where they're like the zoomies, when they have the zoomies.
Yeah.
Well, see, I read that the zoomies are caused because a lot of cats are up hunting at night. So a lot of them like get like energized because they're lounging around during the day. So when they're at night, they're supposed to be like biologically like out in the like woods hunting, and they end up like having a lot of pent up energy.
Well, she's like reacting to things, and she's like, sometimes it looks like she's running away from things. Like is she just using her kitty imagination?
Maybe. I mean, she could be. Actually, that brings me to my last one, but we gotta come up with a quick list of Dover Demon attacks.
So I think the Dover Demon is just a dark type.
You don't think it's I thought it was an alien.
Yeah, but like there's no like alien type, you know what I mean?
What's Mew?
Mew is a psychic type.
So it would probably be something like that. So yeah, probably like a dark type.
Does it have psychic abilities?
I mean, it's just it's if aliens have psychic abilities. Hey, what if this is a quick aside, and because I just thought of this, but this is kind of crazy. What if the Dover Demon was like the United States experimenting with cloning aliens? Like they had alien DNA and they decided to start cloning those instead of humans.
What was so alien about it? Like not I know it's different in Alien, but like what type of alien are you talking about? What does it look like to you?
Have you seen it?
No.
Look at it. This is what it looks like.
Oh. Yeah, it's got like an alien-like head.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna show you a couple other sightings. There was one. Look at these. The one with the glowing red eyes at the bottom is the one that I've seen a lot. But that to me just looks
Scroll down.
like that to me. It looks like a feral, like a feral gray alien, almost like what I'm thinking of is that they tried to clone a gray, and what ended up happening is they created this monstrosity, and it got let loose somehow.
We'll give it dark. Well, it does. It just attacks people though, right? Like it doesn't do anything psychic.
No,
right?
it just like scurries across the road and just stares at people and looks weird.
We're gonna call it a dark type straight up.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, the last one is called the Ozark Howler.
Oh, and for moves, we can flee.
Flee. it's strictly a like a running away Pokemon.
Wait, no, that's just the option of the game. Wait, no, is flee a move? What's a move that's like that?
Just so everyone knows, our version of Pokemon would have GTFO as the option.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it would have run away. No, run is the option. It's not flee.
Yeah, you're right. There's got maybe it is flee. There's got to be another move besides teleport, which makes them run away.
We can just do flee. We can do some kind of weird psychic thing because people thought its eyes looked real weird.
We could also give it leer.
Yeah, that's cool. It's a very timid cryptid, so it would just have all timid powers. Oh, there's been sightings where it's in trees where it just stares at people as they walk by, so I don't know if that helps.
Stares at people. This thing just sounds like something we're not supposed to see, and sometimes people get a glimpse of it. And these are just things that are around.
Well, I think it was only spotted around that time. Like maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, but like there's a lot of different things that people could be seeing. Like yeah, like it was people were seeing that then, but they're seeing other things now.
True. I think the cloned alien thing makes sense, especially with the time period of like alien, like the secret alien history and all that, of like us making deals with the aliens in the 50s and then us doing like experiments in the 60s with like all this technology, and then getting to the 70s and we're starting to do like cloning and all that other stuff, and we're like, oh, we've cloned humans and all this other stuff at Dulce base. Let's clone an alien.
You know what? We're giving it psychic type because you know what we're gonna give it teleport because I would love that. Like, how would they just let this thing escape? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it's really good at fleeing, apparently.
Exactly. So if that's its thing,
That's its thing.
it's kind of like a mystical escape artist where it doesn't even make sense sometimes how it could disappear, and you could just say like, just give it teleport. And it's psychic. It can like maybe it could disappear and like turn invisible and then reappear and it like crawls around and it's just like staying like unnoticed, but like every time you get a glimpse of it, it like scares the shit out of people and then it just goes away.
That's
It's
perfect.
a dark type and psychic type. I'm down to give it psychic.
Yeah, I love that. That was a great explanation. All right. So my final one, and then just maybe a few honorable mentions. The Ozark Howler. In Arkansas folklore, the Howler is a legendary creature said to dwell in the Ozarks. According to tradition, the creature is a bear-like in shape with a dark-colored shaggy coat. In December 2015, the Arkansas television station 4029 News reported that it had received photographs purported to be image of the creature from a viewer. The station contacted the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission, who responded that they had heard of no claims of sightings of the creature and said that the images sent to the station were a hoax.
What does it look like?
I don't know.
I haven't heard what it looks like.
They're not really. Well, let's see. Ozark Howler. It's typically described as
That's a bear.
yeah, nightshade bear, devil cat. Legendary creatures purported to live in remote areas of Arkansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, Texas. Is typically described as being bear-sized with a thick body, stocky legs, black shaggy hair, glowing red eyes, and prominent horns. Its cry is often described as being a combination of a wolf's howl, an elk's bugle, and a laugh of a hyena.
I mean, you know what is cool? Like, I guess I can kind of see it being something like a lion or a tiger or puma like head,
Mhm.
in that this is like a fat fat cat.
Well, that's
But like
exactly.
it's
That's what I was saying.
oh, it with horns is cool.
I was thinking it's like a fucked up puma or something like that. Like we were talking about earlier, like a fucked up panther.
But like bigger. And I also like the idea that like if this is like a different species, that it naturally is bigger. So it's just strong as fuck like a bear.
Listen to this. Some biologists who believe in the Ozark howler assert that it's a mountain lion breed that is either mutated into a new subspecies or is a hybrid of a mountain lion and an unknown creature. Other guesses have included the Ozark howler might be a wild boar, an eastern woodland bison, a hyena, although there isn't a native one, or a surviving member of the Creodont family.
This guy thinks it's a hoax.
Chad Armin asserts in his book that the Ozark Howler is a hoax. According to Armin, he and many other cryptozoologists received messages making claims about Ozark Howler evidence. These messages were tracked down to a University Arkansas student who had made a bet that he could fool the cryptozoological research community. However, stories of the Ozark Howler are said to predate this. Jason Offutt, in his new book Chasing American Monsters, writes that many people have dismissed the Ozark Howler. A howler sighting stretched back to the early 1800s. Lauren Coleman has endorsed the book as highly recommended writing. Offutt does a special service to the field of cryptozoology with this new book. The earliest legend of the Ozark Howler is of the meeting between Daniel Boone and the creature in Missouri in the early 1800s. Boone is purported to have fired his gun at the Ozark Howler in some versions of this story, although there is no evidence that the beast was killed and kept as a trophy. And it was recently spotted in Newton County, Arkansas in 2011 and most recently in 2015. An area resident claimed to photograph the Ozark Howler in Devil's Den State Park.
Devil's Den.
Makes sense.
This thing could be straight up dark type.
Yeah. So a lot of dark types in my squad.
A lot of cryptids are gonna lean that way.
Yeah, probably dark types.
Cryptids specifically.
Yeah.
Like once we lean into like aliens, ghosts can definitely be dark and obviously ghost type mostly, but like psychic type, dragon type, fairy type, you're getting more specific there. And
Mhm.
like there's plenty of things that are cryptids or like weird creatures and entities that won't be dark type. Plenty of them. But cryptids that we know of definitely lean dark.
Oh, 100%. Especially the cryptids that we're into.
Did you have one more?
No, I think that was it, right? Mothman, Flatwoods
You got the
Monster, the Frogman, the Rougarou, the Champ.
You got rid of the frogman.
Oh yeah, well that was the Champ instead.
Champ, a Rougarou.
The Dover Demon and the Ozark Howler.
Yep, you
All
got it.
right. I got a few honorable mentions though I wanted to say. So first foremost, a random one that I thought was really cool, the Demon Cat of DC. It's a ghost cat who was purported to haunt government buildings of Washington, D.C. He was a giant-sized cat, and supposedly he brought destruction to, like, he spotted around the JFK assassination and the Abraham Lincoln one, stuff like that. Legend states the Demon Cat is one of these cats who never left basement tunnels of the Capitol building to kill rats and mice. Anyways, crazy. Another one, Crawfordsville Monster. For anyone that doesn't know or has never seen this, it's a weird, fucked up, snake-like monster type thing. Subsequently identified as a flock of killdeer. Story among the most fantastic of all UFO reports, contribute to early theories of UFOs as airborne organisms. It was like this winged monster that like had like tentacles spewing out of its mouth like Cthulhu, but it looked kind of like a deer, or like the chupacabra if it had like wings. So kind of like, I guess, the Jersey Devil if it had like if it had tentacles coming out of its mouth.
Yeah, that thing's weird.
You see it, right? It was crazy.
Yeah.
You got the Kadeho. That's a supernatural spirit that appears as a dog-shaped creature with blue eyes when it's calm and red eyes when it's attacking. It's, I think, a Native American like legend. Central American folklore of indigenous origin. Yeah, I like that one. We got the sheep squatch out.
These are Pokemon that are chilling back at home with your professor and your mom.
These are Pokemon that you can go out right now and go find and research, that people are literally out there right now studying them as if they are Pokemon. There's people right now, cryptozoologists, who are writing all these down in their Cryptidex, who are coming up with all of these vast amount of cryptids that exist in our, life, and they're just combining them all into their own Cryptidex. Imagine that. That would be cool.
That's what this is. That's what you're reading off of.
Yeah, this is the Cryptidex. So this sheep squatch, also known as the white thing, is a woolly-haired cryptid reported across numerous counties in West Virginia. Southwestern region of the state, the county is the most sighting of Boone.
I like that picture of it.
It's like this
That one's cool.
Baphomet type. It looks like if you took Baphomet but made it more Bigfoot-like is sheep squatch. It looks like in this picture, it looks almost like the Wampa.
Yeah.
There were a couple other ones too. The Mongolian death worm was a crazy one. Apparently, it was this like death worm.
Poison type.
Yep. Oh, 100%.
Wait, no, poison. Doesn't it shock? Doesn't it like electrocute people too? Isn't it like
Venom, such as spitting corrosive venom and even electrocuting its victims from a distance while the creature is a central figure. There's a legend that apparently like Russian scientists or like KGB agents tried to like actually get one of these things and like subdue it and tried to like experiment on it. Crazy little story there. Jackalope, that's a fun one. Everybody knows what a jackalope is. I really wish they they existed because they'd be like the coolest fucking things ever, but it was most likely just a scam from back in like the 1800s of like trappers who were trying to like find like ways to trick foreigners into thinking that there were these rabbits with like deer antlers protruding out of them. But it was probably just like a scam that became like a legend, which is kind of wild. It's kind of cool, honestly. But that could definitely be a cryptid, like in the Pokemon sense. There's one called a snallygaster. Legendary American folklore described Maryland as a winged creature, reptilian, avian characteristics. There's the moon-eyed people, and those are supposedly like these like weird like humanoid-looking people that like had wide eyes that looked like the moon, I guess. You got the lizard man of Scape or Swamp.
Yeah, you show me a picture of these things.
The moon-eyed, yeah. Let me just describe the next one too. The lizard.
No, you didn't even show me a picture of the snallygaster.
Oh, the snallygaster.
You didn't even show me a picture of it. Click on images. Yeah. Oh, whoa, weird.
Yeah.
It has tentacles in its mouth?
Yeah, it's another mouth tentacle one.
Yeah, this is not supposed to be in our reality. This is not right.
No, not at all. I definitely.
That's a cool
Yeah, I definitely beamed over that one. The moon-eyed people are a figure in Appalachian folklore, primarily known from Cherokee oral traditions. They are described as small, fair-skinned, and blue-eyed individuals who allegedly lived in the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina and Tennessee before the Cherokee arrived. Or the name moon-eyed suggests that they were sensitive to sunlight and referred to be out at night. The moon-eyed people are often described as short, white skin and having flaxen hair and beards. Their eyes are said to be very light and blue, rendering them unable to see well in daylight. The legends claim they were nocturnal, emerging from caves or underground dwellings. Only the Cherokee stories detailed the moon-eyed people were a race of people who were driven out or displaced by the Cherokee upon their arrival in the region. Some theories suggest the moon-eyed people were a distinct Native American subgroup with unique physical characteristics or even descendants of Welsh settlers who came to the region in the 18th century for mining.
Where they came from in the earth.
Yeah, or Hollow Earth. So that was a cool one.
They can't see well because they're from underground.
The Lizard Man of Scape or Swamp is a cool one. Basically like a reptilian. Can you see the pictures of this one?
Yes.
Yeah, basically like basically like a reptilian Bigfoot.
Basically an Argonian, a buff-ass Argonian.
Exactly. Basically the lizard from Spider-Man. Classic.
Yeah. Nah, that's too buff.
Yeah, that's true. If it was more feral. First mentioned.
That's what this cryptid evolves into.
Yeah, he evolves into the lizard.
Scientist. Ripped alien man. Ripped alien.
That works with the cryptid thing too. First mentioned in the late 1980s, the purported sightings damaged attributed creature yielded a significant amount of newspaper, radio, and television publicity. Professor of Religious Studies Joseph Laycock, hilarious name, described the media frenzy and subsequent cult appreciation for this and other similar claims as following a predictable chain of events. States that this thing is a compelling story, yada, yada, yada. Just says a lot about its criticism, but This thing is, yeah, basically like a lizard man. And the other one that I wanted to mention is the skunk ape, which is Florida's Bigfoot. He's like kind of like a smaller version of Bigfoot, more like hunched over and more like kind of wild and crazy because he's from Florida.
And he smells?
Yeah, apparently he smells really bad. I mean, they say that, no Bigfoot smells very good, but apparently the skunk ape, I mean, with a name like skunk ape, it makes sense. He smells awful.
He's definitely a poison type.
He's definitely a poison type. He's a poison subtype of the big. I think we can call the Bigfoots like all like a group, maybe like ape men. All right.
I think all ape men are one half normal type. One half normal.
All right. So they'd be one half normal type. All right, that makes sense.
It's a normal poison type. Poison normal.
Poison normal. All right, you want to do yours now?
You lead me into it,
So-
and I'll just start talking about them.
So the Kentucky Goblins, I didn't realize this until right now. Ufologists regard it as one of the most significant, well-documented cases in the history of UFO incidents.
Yup.
I thought it was just like a goblin. I didn't think it was going to be like an alien thing.
It is more like goblins, honestly. I think maybe somebody saw them floating, but maybe I'm wrong about that.
On the evening of August 21st, 1955, 5 adults and 7 children arrived at the Hopkinsville police station claiming that small alien creatures from a spaceship had been attacking their farmhouse and that they had been holding them off with gunfire for nearly 4 hours. That's hilarious. They should make a fucking movie. 2 of the adults, Elmer Sutton and Billy Ray Taylor, claimed they had been shooting at a few short, dark figures who repeatedly popped up at the doorway or peered into windows. The Kentucky New Era, the first paper to report the incident, increased the number of creatures to 12 to 15 and continues to be the number most often reported. Concerned about a possible gun battle between local citizens, 4 city police officers, 5 state troopers, 3 deputy sheriffs, and 4 military police officers from nearby United States Army Fort Campbell. I don't know if those army officers would come by in the case of a simple firefight between local citizens. I'm just going to throw that out there. Drove to the Sutton farmhouse located near the town of Kelly in Christian County. Their search yielded no evidence apart from broken windows and holes in screens, possibly the result of gunfire. That sounds to me like those military guys probably knew something. They wouldn't send the military there for nothing. That's literally a nothing burger for the military. If the military hears this is happening and they think, oh, these are just citizens shooting at each other, they're not gonna go out there and do that. They thought there was something to
That's
it.
something they hear about, and then they're like, "Oh, thank goodness the cops are around to handle that for us."
Yeah, exactly. They're not gonna go out there and mess around with something like that unless there's really something to it. They would not send 4 troopers there for a simple
course not.
skirmish. That's crazy. That's the most glossed over detail of this whole thing.
So the Kentucky Goblins. Okay, I don't know if there was a spaceship, but
I mean, they said there was.
I'm convinced. Let me see. Who reported that?
The people, the ones that the kids that came to the police station, or the adults that came with them, or something like that. People think they might have been a great horned owl. They're just shooting at owls popping in the windows. They're like, "Whoo!"
I don't think owls would keep flying near a house that's making that loud of a noise.
I don't think an owl would keep popping in and out of a window if it's being shot at.
Yeah.
Whoo! They would have definitely shot one of those owls too. I assume these guys had shotguns. At least one of them had a shotgun. If we're talking about a farmhouse in what was this? Kentucky. There's a farmhouse in Kentucky. Definitely had a shotgun. So they definitely probably hit one of these things. And if they didn't, how did they not? And if they did, how did this thing not get wounded?
Is there like a sports team in Kentucky? And if there is their name the Goblins? Because it should be.
I don't know, but that would be a perfect name, especially if it was like a hockey team.
Yeah.
All right, so what would the Kentucky Goblins be for like their cryptid attacks?
All right, listen to this. to have been seen in Hopkinsville, Kentucky, and are described as little men surrounding the farmhouse, peering at the families with monkey-like appearances, while the Hopkinsville goblins were seen near a farmhouse. There's no indication in the reported sightings that they had a spaceship.
Okay, so no spaceship. All right, so maybe they were just goblin-like entities, but I think that still the military base had something to do with it, and maybe there was no spaceship, but they still sound like ETs. Clark describes an odd luminous patch along a fence where one of the beings had been shot in the woods beyond a green light, whose source could not be determined. However, the description was consistent with foxfire, a bioluminescent fungus on decaying wood. Okay. The supposed creatures floated through the trees, and the sound of bullets striking them resembled bullets striking a metal bucket. So it was almost like they had like some kind of metallic suit on. Clark also wrote investigations by police Air Force officers from Air Force from nearby Fort Campbell, and civilian ufologists found no evidence of a hoax. However, Brian Dunning reported the claim that the Air Force investigators show up the next day at Miss Langford's house has been published a number of times by later authors, but I could find no corroborating evidence of this. Dunning also observed the 4 military police who accompanied the police officers on the night of the event were from an Army base, not an Air Force base. Okay, but still, either way.
All right, so we could read about there's a lot about the goblins. Like you said, it's like the most well-reported and like witnessed event. There's a lot. The Pokemon Sableye is directly based off a Kentucky goblin. So I'm just gonna insert Sableye into this and just treat it like a variation of Sableye. We're gonna give it a ghost type. We're gonna give it dark type. They weren't exactly ghosts, but we're gonna give it that anyway because it's a Sableye.
Let's make them more of like a metallic Sableye.
I don't think they're metallic. They're silver colored, but I don't think they were
Yeah,
metallic.
but they were described as like when the bullets hit them, it was like bullets bouncing off of metal buckets.
I think that maybe that's why it has like diamond eyes. Like if you look at Sableye, it has like it's got diamonds or like crystals for eyes.
Mhm.
And we could just treat it like that. We could also just treat it like it got shot, but like it didn't really get shot because it's a ghost.
Yeah, maybe. All right. Yeah, we'll treat it like Sableye. Which one do you want to do next? Oh, well, which moves would it have?
Oh well, same moves as Sableye.
All right, well that's easy
Give it
then.
Shadow Ball, give all this crazy shit.
Yeah.
But we could tell, you know what? Let's go back. We will change it up. We're gonna give it Dark and Psychic. This version.
Okay.
It's a variation of Sableye, has a slightly different typing.
Dark and Psychic.
Dark and Psychic, because they do float around,
Mm-hmm.
and that's another way that it could get shot and not really take any damage. Like it could.
That's true.
It has like a force field.
That's true. All right, you want to do the next one?
It could no deflect. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next one. Just hit me. What's the next one on the list for me?
Jin.
Oh yeah. It's such like a. It's pretty much like a fairy type, but it's going to be a fairy ghost type because they're so ethereal.
Mm-hmm.
But I would also assume that like there's a lot of different kinds of Jin, and maybe there's like different variations. Like there's some Jin that aren't ghost type. Maybe there's some Jin that aren't fairy type. You know.
They're shape shifting.
Well, just because there's so many different kinds. Like imagine there's like, like a fire Jin, like an Ifrit.
Mm-hmm.
That could be like a ghost fire or fairy fire, or you could do like water or like.
So Jin could be like a Bigfoot type where there's a bunch of sub ones. Which Jin type would be your favorite?
I'm gonna go for straight up fairy ghost type.
Fairy ghost type.
A fairy ghost type.
What power set?
Just like reality manipulation, creating things.
So what would
It's like got like things like
I was gonna say you were so good with naming the potential like abilities for my cryptid.
fairy type. Fairy type is new. That's a new one, and I don't think I've even played a Pokemon game that has fairy type in it.
Mm-hmm.
Not to age myself too much,
Hey, don't be ageist.
so I probably can't think of any fairy type moves, but there's other things it could know, and I don't know any off the top of my head. So moving on.
I got a list of fairy type moves: alluring voice,
Hit me.
aromatic mist, baby doll eyes, charm, crafty shield, dazzling gleam, decorate, disarming voice, draining kiss, fairy lock, fairy wind, floor cannon, floral healing, flower shield, geomancy, Gmax smite, Gmax finale.
Ooh, this is cool.
Yeah.
Geomancy.
Magical Torque, Misty Explosion, Misty Terrain, Moonblast, Moonlight, Nature's Madness. I think Nature's Madness would be a good one.
Nature's Madness. Yeah, Moonblast is another cool
Yep.
one.
Um.
But let's throw in some dark type. No, some ghost type moves. So we're gonna give it. Hold on, ghost type now. It only gets 4.
Yeah, because we're at 2 so far. We could do in this move. We could throw in this move. Let's Snuggle Forever move. That's a fairy move.
What?
That's actually a fairy move. Look at the list. Look at the list. It's the first one in L.
Weird.
Isn't that crazy? Moonblast. That's a great one.
Play rough.
Is that one of them?
Yeah.
Twinkle Tackle.
Strange Steam.
What the fuck?
Sweet Kiss.
Sparkly Swirl. And then you have
These
like
are
an
weird.
existential like sounding name, Spirit Break.
Go to ghost type.
All right. We have what you see.
Oh, we're gonna give it Destiny Bond.
Okay. And then one more. Astral Barrage is cool.
We're giving it Astonish.
Astonish. Okay. Cool. All right. So that was the Jin. Next would be the Thunderbird. I mean,
Thunderbird is
I
straight
was gonna
up
say
a different version.
this is the easiest one.
Yeah.
100%.
This is a Zapdos. That's a dark type.
Yep. Shoots lightning,
Moving on.
flies. Well, we got to still just name the things real quick. Gust of wind, all that. You know, yada yada.
Thunder.
Well, that's yeah, thunder, lightning.
Oh, it could also make it rain. Like it like brings storms, so it could have the move
That's
that,
true, like a flooding
I
or a
forgot what
water
move-
cannon kind of move.
Yeah, you could maybe rain dance is a move, but I don't know if it does rain dance. Maybe something else that makes it rain.
I mean, rain dance would be a perfect move for it since it's Native American folklore. We should also just real quick just say, yeah, it's Native American folklore, the Thunderbird, and it's been spotted all over like the
I
United
just
States.
started to imagine it standing up on its legs dancing.
I just couldn't
maybe not
imagine
rain dance.
just standing up on its legs dancing. I wasn't thinking new Pokemon when I was devising all this list. I was thinking old school Pokemon where a dance was them like moving up and down. It's a slight shift.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Men in Black.
So
There goes Men in
I'm gonna
Black.
have a man in black on my team, and he's gonna be a dark psychic type.
Dark psychic type. He's just gonna be like pale faced. He's gonna wear sunglasses, the hat, the suit. Not gonna say shit.
No sunglasses.
Yeah, but
Just
they wear sunglasses though.
dead. Nope, just dead eyes, and no eyebrows and no eyelashes.
I'm telling you, sunglasses, man. I'm not even just describing the movies. This is classic Men in Black lore.
I think there's been some scene without sunglasses. Am I crazy?
I mean, let's see. Men in Black cryptids.
Click on that first picture.
All right. Generally describes tall men wearing dark suits. They have been seen wearing black sunglasses, hats, and dark overcoats.
They have also been seen.
Yes.
So some have sunglasses.
Dr. Herbert Hopkins was
Some have
visited by a
overcoats.
man in black in 1976, described the individuals wearing a tailored navy suit, dark suede gloves, and a bowler-style hat. The man was bald, did not have any eyebrows or lashes, had dead white skin, and wore bright red lipstick. So was it like maybe a shapeshifter, someone pretending to be human?
So these things always appear around like UFO sightings. People believe they've seen stuff, and they're like they're creepy.
There's
like,
been videos
show
of
up.
them, like encounters of the Men in Black.
They'll call people, and then be right outside their door, like while they're calling them, or like right after they call them. They're intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
and they're creepy as fuck. But they also seem like they're kind of like just trying to suppress the truth of aliens. So we're just gonna treat them like aliens, especially with the way that they're like. They have like when people meet them, they have like this strange feeling come over them that a lot of people have. Like it seems like a psychic thing is going on.
Mm-hmm.
People usually talk about how like when they get abducted by aliens, they have like a weird feeling over like aliens are, but usually aliens are trying to give them this like almost artificial euphoria or like peacefulness. You know what I mean? They have to like kind of like force that onto us because we're freaking the fuck out because we're looking at aliens. Men in Black, I feel like, have like a smaller version of that, but it just seems to weird people out.
It's like the uncanny valley effect.
Yeah. Well, that definitely, yeah. Yeah. It would just be a dark psychic type and like the creepiest Pokemon possible.
So what would be the moves?
We'll do decoy. We'll do foresight. I need some help with this. Give me some dark type moves. Let me read them real quick. Hold on.
Yeah.
You can see some of them. Torment.
That's
Definitely torment.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And I just want to give it like a strong move, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or just give it something to deal just normal damage. I don't know. Throat chop. Scroll up a little bit.
Pursuit. That one seems like a good one.
Well, what does pursuit do?
Pursuit inflicts damage with a power of 40. If the target Pokemon is switched out on turn, Pursuit is used. Pursuit's power doubles and it will immediately be used before it is switched out, including an accuracy check. This does not apply if used on
All
an
right,
ally
wait.
switch.
Pursuit's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It can have pursuit. So it's pursuit. It has what was the other one I said I had?
Torment.
Torment. What does torment do?
I don't know, but it sounds about right. Non-damaging
Non-damage.
dark type move. Torment prevents the target from using the same move twice in a row. So it's almost like a stun effect. The effect lasts until the target is switched out. Pokemon has selected the move it used last turn and becomes effective with Torment. It may still use this move this turn even if it moves after the user Torment. That's kind of that sucks. That means like you can't make any moves at a certain point.
So yeah, those are the moves. It knows that. It knows foresight, and it knows another one. I forgot.
Torment, Pursuit,
Oh, decoy.
Foresight, and Decoy. Yep.
I just like decoy.
All right. How about Baba Yaga? This one seems kind of easy,
Yeah.
right? Isn't she like an old witch?
Why don't you take the reins on this one?
Often depicted as an old woman with a large nose, long crooked fingers, and often missing teeth, she is sometimes seen as repulsive or fearsome, while other stories she's more helpful or even friendly. She possesses magical powers, including the ability to fly on a mortar and pestle. Okay. To move her house on chicken legs and to control nature and animals. She's also known for her knowledge and ability to help or hinder those who encounter her. She lives in a remote hut in the forest, often one that moves on chicken legs. This hut is often seen as a symbol of her isolation magical power. What do we think?
This right here is another dark fairy type.
Dark fairy type, that works. Witch types shouldn't even have their own like type. That's not like a thing.
I mean, no, it's
It's
not.
just dark fairy type.
I think it would just go under dark type.
All right, so
There's actually a bird that looks like it's wearing a witch's hat, and it's a dark type.
I know what you're talking about.
Murkrow, I think it is. Murkrow.
So what would be the power set for Baba Yaga with all that considered?
Oh man, I don't even know.
Magical powers. She can control animals, so she could probably control cryptids because they're magical powered beings. So she could probably like control animal cryptids like dogmen and stuff like that. So that could be.
She's crazy.
Yeah.
In a good
Yeah.
way.
But let's say control animal cryptids if that's a power, like, you know, so shut them down basically. Let's say a magical blast.
Some sort of telekinesis.
Make
things levitate.
Yep. That's 3.
You know.
We got to incorporate the chicken leg hut in there somehow.
You don't.
Her fleeing move is they made that really emphatic in there that the chicken leg hut is the thing.
I think the chicken leg hut is another Pokemon that's always around a Baba Yaga.
The chicken leg hut, when she has to flee, the chicken leg hut comes around and grabs her. So what would be one more good move?
I don't know.
Come on, there's got to be one more good one.
Look it up. Look up some moves. I told you to take the reins on this one.
I gave you so many ideas though.
I don't know any moves off the top of my head.
I don't know any moves at all for Pokemon at all.
Look it up. She's a dark psychic type. You're already on the dark type moves. Give her Hone Claws or
Confusion, Cosmic Power, Dream Eater. She should have Dream Eater.
Dream Eater.
Yeah,
Yup.
that's definitely the one. Yeah, most definitely.
Yup.
All right, and then last but not least, your very last one. Your
It's already the last one.
yeah, this is the sixth one.
The Umibozu.
The Umibozu.
Who's gonna 1v1 your champ?
He's gonna 1v1 my champ.
He's gonna pick up champ by the neck.
He is a Japanese yokai, a mythical spirit that appears as a giant black human-like being from the depths of the ocean. It's known for its association with calm seas that suddenly turn violent, its tendency to sink ships or drown sailors. Yeah, he would destroy Champ. Said to control the ocean and cause storms, and sometimes to demand a bucket of barrel from sailors, which they then use to drown them. That's hilarious. All right. so clearly his ability, like a storm, like that would be one of the abilities. Probably tidal wave. What else?
Slam.
Same thing as Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah,
They're gonna be slamming at each other.
they're gonna be slamming at each other. It's literally, they're not even going to be able to like fight. Like they're gonna have almost the same power sets. They're gonna shoot tidal waves at each other. They're gonna be slamming at each other. It's gonna be like
All right,
a
fine.
deadlock.
You know what? I'm gonna give it Hydro Cannon.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that works. That's different enough. So that's the fourth one.
Yeah, it's a dark water type. If you couldn't guess.
Dark water type. Yeah, well, that makes sense.
Some might argue it should be a ghost water type,
A ghost water type.
but I want it to be a dark water type.
He's gonna 1v1 your champ. That was great. So that was the start of our Cryptidex. And yeah, maybe we'll come up with some more next time that would work as good cryptids for the Cryptidex.